guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This one guy sounds like he's in his early 50s, I believe, and he's writing in to share this sad tale of his brother-in-law, a guy in his late 40s, who unfortunately didn't learn the first time around with his marriage that you never let a gal think that you're never going to walk away. This guy learned the hard way why it's so important that you must command respect, that no matter what, guys, and I tell you this all the time, that if she doesn't respect you, she won't love you, and how if she doesn't know that if she crosses the line, pushes you too far, bombards you with disrespect, that you're not going to walk, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And this situation is going to be over religion. You're going to see this guy, both guys here come from a very religious background where divorce is a big no-no, and therefore this guy's wife knew this, and you're going to see how she behaves. And worse yet, the guy, well, you'll see how it goes, but he doesn't learn his lesson, and it happens again. So it's very important, you guys. This is kind of like a public service announcement about how important it is, guys, you relationship guys, so pay attention. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to have a backbone. You can't be this Mr. Nice guy, make the whole world about her, and she's the whole reason for your happiness. Because if you do that, they're going to lose respect for you, and if she treats you with disrespect, crosses the boundaries, you got to chuck her. You got to stand up for yourself. And no matter how bad it will get, they need to know you're going to walk. Otherwise, it could be like this. Can't stress that enough. So he says, hello, SSM. This is largely about my brother-in-law who found that the woman he married and had 2 kids with was so unpleasant to be with, he grew to hate her. We are all from religious homes, so when he said that he was going to get married, everyone was pleased. Well, you're all pleased, but then there's getting married and there's actual marriage. He and his wife were in their early 30s when they got married. Okay, so he didn't do it super young, huh? Though she was a couple years older. She was an unsuccessful actress, so she presented herself to us really well. But she was a different person in private. They took a long time to get pregnant. Smack! What do you mean they got pregnant? There's no they getting pregnant. She got pregnant. He was expecting. That political correct bullshit. You know better. And it didn't happen without the IVF. He was crushed under the weight of the financial burden of paying for everything, including the debt she was building up. A huge amount of stress, his hair was falling out in clumps. Why the hell doesn't she have a job? Why the hell isn't she contributing financially? I mean, obviously after the children were born, and I know from what I hear, daycare is incredibly expensive, blah, blah, blah. But there's a point when the kids go off to school. Why can't she get off her ass? Is this the failed actress here? So being religious, divorce is not an option. And I completely disagree with that, man. I know the religious folks are going to go bananas here in the comment section, but if the marriage is that miserable, and I might add the kids are growing in that misery after all attempts, no. And the problem is right here. She knows that for him, divorce is not an option. Therefore, she can do whatever she wants. He would not do that. So she used it as a tactic to control him and win every argument. Right there. She saw his hand he was playing. She knew. Well, regardless, even if in his mind, because of his religious faith, and I do respect people's religious faith, by the way, it's just that I have a problem when that religious faith, people stick to it so strictly that it causes them a lot of suffering, like in a situation of an awful marriage. But anyhow, she's using that against him. Regardless of his faith, he should have still been laying down the law. I think he was just a spineless guy. She isolated him from his family as much as she possibly could. He had no one to talk to, not that he would normally anyway. That's a classic sign of abuse, trying to isolate you so they can control you and you have no way out. And no guy of any strength is ever going to put up with that shit. Because guess what? I know religious guys out there whose faith is very important to them, and they're not spineless pussies. They stand up for themselves. Eventually, he reached a point of no return. She decided to offer divorce again to win the latest argument, so he agreed. So after all these years and all the misery he's going through, finally, it still ends in divorce. She was stunned and went out to talk to her family. When she returned, he presented her with a spreadsheet covering all the division of assets. Spreadsheet, huh? The whole thing was particularly unpleasant, and he is paying a lot every month, but he can't see his own kids, and it's been years. That's terrible. Look what all the years of misery, and still it ends up in divorce, and he's getting royally screwed. She made implied threats that he was an abuser and so on. The UK legal system means that to go to court, he would have to pay for his own lawyer, and while married, her lawyer too. Oh, how nice. And remember all this shit, guys, for you guys who want to get married. Does this mean that every marriage is going to end up this way? No, but I'm sure you know his patterns here. Before the divorce was finalized, he decided he would go on Tinder. Oh, that's a smart idea. He hooked up almost immediately, and within a few weeks, she had de-napped him, white-knighted him, and he was living in his marital home. She was living in the marital home with him. That probably doesn't look very good if they're still going through the divorce process. Immediately, he's white-knighting a Tinderella. How dumb is that? Clearly, this guy doesn't have a whole lot of experience with women. His wife still had the key to the house and went in to find his girlfriend in the marital bed, all while he was having to pay for marital counseling. Moved her in. What's the rush, dude? At least get through your divorce and then, work on yourself. I gotta wonder if this guy just can't be alone, or this was a escape mentally and emotionally from what he was going through. I don't know, but with a Tinderella, it gets worse. His new girlfriend was a values chameleon and went through the whole Pentecostal conversion process, baptism and so on, but she was sleeping with him. Yeah, I call BS on that. What a show. His divorce was finally granted. He lost more than half the equity on the house, and he had to pay his ex-wife's credit cards and other debts and pay alimony and child support. And what I heard, the UK is way worse. Guys, you young guys, any guys, listen to this. Think about these things when you want to say I do, when you want to propose. Remember these things. So he bought another house in a much cheaper neighborhood. His girlfriend moved in with him. She was moving from job to job, 3 to 6 months to each job at most. So she can't hold on a job, and she's waiting for this sucker to take care of everything. He proposed to her. Smack. Oh, he hasn't suffered enough? Really? With their first marriage, you think it's going to get better? I don't hear anything about him working on himself. And he's proposed to a Tinderella? She accepted and then put on a lot of weight after giving him a lot of grief and drama. So she got that ring, and all of a sudden, it's hippopotamus time. He had a cat and had a nanny cam for the cat. So he noticed with intense interest that his girl used to watch TV all day, eating chocolates and drinking bottles of wine every day. Well, they're not married yet, it sounds like, so he can take back the fucking ring. Nope. He would get home from work and have to cook the evening meal. Why can't she get off her fat ass and cook the evening meal? She then got a decent job about 6 months before the wedding. In the run-up to the wedding, she was suddenly working from home a lot. Eventually he noticed and asked, "Where is your laptop?" And she said, "Oh, I'm working off my phone today." Because of her salary, he gave up his tech job to do teacher training as he wanted to be a teacher. She could pay the mortgage for a year, right? I don't think so. So he gave up his career because she's making more money. Now she's the breadwinner. How does that usually work out for guys? 1 month after the wedding, she had to tell him that she had been fired 2 months before the wedding. She then reacted to his dismay by phoning everyone, hoping for a financial handout. When that did not happen, she had a psychotic breakdown and went to the hospital. So, I'm sorry your brother-in-law is going through this, but there's a point where, you can't really feel too bad when somebody keeps repeatedly putting themselves in the same situation with the same toxic, rotten people, and he keeps behaving the same way with these same type of people, and he actually expects a different result. What's the definition of insanity? I think repeating the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. There you go. He had to give up his dream and sold the house and moved himself and his wife into his mother's house, and he got another tech job. Yeah, I'm sure that was fun. His mother reached the end of her rope and sold her house to him. She moved a half-hour drive away. His wife has blocked us on all social media after sending us very nasty messages, and she ticks all the boxes of being a cluster B rageaholic. We are all just waiting for her to cheat and monkey branch, etc. Well, you know what? If she monkey branched, I'd be doing this guy a favor. And hopefully he learns after the second miserable marriage and divorce. He is now doing security jobs in the next state, so he has to stay overnight for about 5 nights a week. At your house? She wanted a baby, but I hope he has decided not to. He's certainly not around to do that. I think when it's over, he'll get another tech job. Well, why doesn't he get another tech job now? She is now about 40 years old and he's about 47. This poor miserable bastard. You know, on the one hand, I feel bad for him. On the other hand, it's hard to. So me and my wife have been married for 30 years and in our lower 50s. So yes, we were in our early 20s when we got married. Smack! What the hell was the rush? No smacks. It was in the early 90s and we were young and religious. No advice YouTubers existed and we have grown up together. Well, you know what? If you have a happy marriage with your wife and you got a good thing going, I am sincerely happy for you. We need more of that. But still, I'm going to smack you anyway, because God damn it. I mean, I didn't mean to use blasphemy, but I naturally curse because I know you're a religious guy. But anyhow, it's still really young. She had no baggage, and neither did I, and we had our kids youngish, so now they're fully grown. We've been blessed and avoided doing anything stupid. I wouldn't advocate marriage for early 20s today. Thank you, I agree with you. You see people hitting their 40s still dressed like teenagers, and you realize that we are seeing people with the longest adolescence in human history. Yeah, nobody wants to grow up nowadays. It's amazing to me. And newsflash, it isn't just the gals. It's also a lot of young guys too. But then you say, okay, who are these people in their 30s and 40s that are behaving and dressing like they're in their 20s? Okay, who are they? And then say, who are their parents? And you figure out the different generations and to connect the dots in these things. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I got no problem, the young at heart and taking care of yourself and all that. But, behaving in an immature manner. And speaking of people that are older but dressing like they're way younger, any of you guys ever see, you've had to have seen this. This is a little side story here. I can't help but mention this. Ever see Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon? You almost know him. His current girl, I think it's Lauren Sanchez. She's in her 50s as well as he is. And Jeff Bezos, once he left Amazon, clearly got a personal trainer and he got himself in darn good shape for his 50s. And I'm impressed. His girl, she's in her 50s as well. And before obvious plastic surgery and all that, I thought she didn't look bad for her age. But now she's got like the gigantic from the injections in the lips and the plastic surgery. And she wears these outfits out that it's like, what the hell? She would make a Miami girl in the club who's 22 years old be like, what the hell? I mean, she looks ridiculous. I mean, it's like, grow the hell up. Have some freaking pride. I mean, that guy's got to be like, oh my God. But I'm sure some of you guys have seen pictures. If you don't believe me, look up Lauren Sanchez and look up pictures of her with Jeff Bezos and some of her outfits. But she's in her 50s. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, had to mention it. My advice to men of a certain age, if your wife of decades dies, don't jump into another relationship, especially if you've grown children. You should never jump into any new relationship, guys. You got to work on yourself and grieve and mourn and work on yourself, Number one, if you meet a younger woman, she may want children. I'm 50 years old. I've done my duty and have 3 kids. No more nappy changing for me. Yeah, definitely, guys. You guys that are, say, you're divorced or you're older and you get with a younger girl, be aware she's probably going to want kids. And you better wear your protection, or better yet, if you don't want kids altogether, consider, and this is your choice, I'm not telling you to do this, maybe a vasectomy. 2, if the woman showing interest in you has children from a previous marriage, definitely no way. You have assets, which then become her assets. What about your kids? Your blood. 3, if she is postmenopausal, then whatever you might get now after the wedding, it will decline rapidly. Yep. 4, if she's young enough to have another couple of kids, then you need to be realistic about how attracted she is to you. Why is she still single at 35 plus? Correct. 5, there are probably more things I could say, but this is the main one. If I became a widower, why would I give another woman the opportunity to tell me about all the things I do that annoy her? Anyway, he says, boy meets girl, and he says this in quotes, you're my ideal woman, let's get married. And she says to him, yes, let's get married, and you're my ideal project. Best wishes to you, and keep up with your educating of men of all ages. Well, anyway, bro, good story there. Nice public service announcement about your brother-in-law, and a warning to all you guys out there that want to get married. And you guys, as I said all before, one of the most common things in the stories I go over when these awful things happen to these guys is these guys are spineless bitches. They act so fucking weak, no respect for themselves. They don't stand up for themselves. Women, as well as anybody else, don't respect weakness and pushovers. But the problem is this: so many guys are sold this nice guy, kiss-ass narrative. That's what happens. I'm not saying you can't be good to your girl. Of course you are. But it has to be reciprocated, you know? And there's being good, and there's kissing the ground she walks on, which so many guys do. It's ridiculous. And you got to stand up for yourself. And if she doesn't fully know and understand that if she crosses the line with you, pushes too far, you're going to walk. You're never going to get her full respect, and you can expect more bullshit. That's countless times you've seen these in these stories I've gone over. But at the end of the day, it's your lives, guys. You can do what you want. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Then what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.